Hello, and thank you for joining me on another episode of the Tech Exec podcast. As always, it's me, Aviv Ben-Yosef, and our subject today will be about leadership procrastination. Before that, as usual, a quick update. It's still war over here. We're now during week 7, and I don't know, I'm getting a bit more optimistic, but still, things are intense over here. And I think, like most Israelis, I'd like to see this come to an end sooner rather than later. However, as the board on the NASDAQ said last week, and I really like the message, Israeli tech delivers no matter what, and I'm taking that to heart, and I'm also trying to keep up with the regular schedule of my things, also because, it's helpful for me as well. And therefore, I'm recording this on November 19th, and this week I will release details about my year-end / kick up the new year free webinar, which I've been doing for a while, and I'd love to see you there. So do check out the links in the show notes for it, and if you don't see it in the show notes, it means that I haven't published the date specifically yet, and therefore check the show notes for my newsletter where you can sign up and be notified about it so you don't miss it. It's a free webinar. I don't have a lot of these, usually 1 or 2 a year. So don't miss the opportunity, and I'm waiting to see you there. And now let's talk about leadership procrastination. This is about a concept that I think many leaders seem to miss, and that is when they look at themselves, when they consider their work, they're like, well, I'm not procrastinating. Look at all the things I'm doing. I'm constantly overwhelmed. Anyone looking at me from the side is going to say that I'm not someone you can call lazy. I'm working nonstop. And therefore, the concept of procrastination just doesn't apply to you. And I think that we have a misunderstanding here because, you're not procrastinating as in sitting back, your legs on the desk, doing nothing. Yeah, okay. However, leadership procrastination is about procrastinating your leadership. So just as when, you have a deadline, you start cleaning the house, right? You find busy work. For too many leaders, your procrastination is precisely about this. The fact that you fill your time with meetings, talking to people, putting out fires, etc., is busy work that fills up your time and occupies you from having to do what you ought to be doing, from being a real leader, from making decisions you keep postponing. This is the type of procrastination we're talking about today. And this is the essence of what we see nowadays and what makes so many organizations move a lot slower than they should be. And I believe that the shift in the economy over the past year or a bit more should make it clear that you can no longer allow yourself to move so slowly, waiting for the right moment, waiting for something to become grave enough to focus on it. No, we have to start moving much more rapidly. We have to show our teams that we value moving fast more than we value never making any mistakes. And this is the sort of mindset that too many startups I'm seeing already have, where we are moving so slowly because no one wants to waste a week doing something that doesn't make sense. And I'm like, yeah, but however, what you do end up doing is that you spend weeks and weeks doing things that you're sure are important, but are never the type of leaps and experiments that you need to be doing in order to get to the next phase, in order to make the shift that's needed. For example, ChatGPT came out. If you're going to wait 2 years to see how it establishes, you're going to miss the train by a bunch. And we need to learn how to shift quickly. We need to learn how to react. And leadership procrastination is about these types of decisions. Are you letting new hires stay on for longer than they ought to because you're procrastinating on making a decision to say this is not a good fit? The same applies to new managers you promoted and are not good managers. The same applies to looking at your roadmap, realizing, for example, in August, that it no longer makes sense because something happened, and you're like, okay, let's just, the end of the year is right around the corner. Let's just let the next 4 months pass till we start talking about the roadmap of the next year. All of these are real examples that I'm seeing all the time. I'm sure you've witnessed at least one of them, if not personally, then by one of your colleagues in the past few months. And all of these cause dire problems because not only are you making things a lot slower when it comes to these specific decisions, but also there's a major problem with how these things end up never stopping at your level and going down all the way to your entire team. So, for example, when they see that we continue working on a roadmap that no longer really makes sense, they are also likely to not voice their concerns when they have issues. When they see that something's not going to work out, when they're uncertain about something, at least until it becomes 100% clear that you're going to do that. And therefore, I want you to right now make a decision to stop procrastinating and act. And I've written about this in both my books about the concept of not making a decision or delaying a decision is by itself a decision. And therefore, the more you wait, the more cognitive load that you're accumulating, that you let it bog you down, and the slower your entire organization gets. So don't do that. And decide right now that you're gonna act, you're gonna do things. Stop letting things just pile up. I'm guessing you're not letting your inboxes pile up, you're not letting your people wait for you too long. Don't do it when it comes to real leadership decisions. Don't let the standard of your team become just moving so slowly that from the side, when people look at you, it looks like you're really busy, but you're busy treading water. Don't be there. And you can start right now by deciding you're going to attend my end of year/year kickoff webinar. It's free. It's going to be worth your while. And it's going to be fun, at least for me. So check out the show notes. If there's no specific details there, subscribe to the mailing list and you're going to get first notice while it's out. That's it for this time. I'll be here next week.